I'm interested to see what you guys think of this ESPN list of the top quarterbacks, because I think this list is insulting too strong. This list feels insulting. Now, obviously, I am a fan of the beloved. My are and we, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. CJ Carr, I've told you, he wins a Heisman, we win a national championship, or the season essentially is a bust.
Right.
At Notre Dame. So we're talking about very different ways of doing business. Okay. I would look at the first two on this list and say, I really like CJ Carr. Julian Sands a stud. I don't believe Trinidad Chambliss is the third best quarterback in the country. I don't believe that Byrum Brown is a top 10 quarterback in the country. I don't know what I think of Dante Moore, because I'm told by the NFL draft types that he's the best quarterback in college football. My eyes tell me very differently.
Mm-hmm.
And so I start going through this. I don't believe that Brendan Sorsby is a top 10 quarterback in college football. Where is Darien Mensah? Where is Harvey Mensah? Where's Darien Mensah? How is Darien Mensah not one of the 10 best quarterbacks in the country?
I just think there's a lot unknown with him, man. And we've always differed on him.
Okay, what is unknown about
the fact that he hasn't played in any meaningful games yet? He played at Duke.
He's in the same conference.
Like, it's
more talent.
Yeah. I don't know, dude.
What do we mean?
If you're gonna sit here and question, Trinidad Chambliss, you can't be that confident in Darien Mensah. I mean, it's
how much do you have any idea the numbers that Darien Mensah put up last year?
Yeah, I'm sure he put up great numbers. Yeah, that's great.
I don't know. He put up great numbers last year. Trinidad Chambliss put up 3,937 yards, 22 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
Against an SEC schedule.
Darien Mensah put up 3,973 yards, 34 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions.
Against the ACC.
Right, but you can only play who's in front of you.
Right, but that doesn't change the fact that the competition is less.
It doesn't change the fact that they... okay. I don't even know how to fix that.
I can't believe we're confused about this, dude. The guy played an ACC. The guy played an ACC schedule, and we're sitting here trying to say that somehow he should be, on the graphic, higher up the graphic, whatever. I mean, I'm fine to compare Sorsby, certainly Byrum Brown to Darien Mensah. I'm fine with that. That's cool. We can have that conversation. Even Mestamaker. I mean, Mestamaker, in my opinion, has no business being on this list. I don't know what anybody's looking at putting him as in the top 10, top 20. Sure. Top 10. Absolutely not. But, I think that we just all assume that, oh, well, he was at Duke. Now he's at Miami. He's going to be amazing. I don't think it works that way, dude. I think that you gotta show what you can do on a new team, in a new environment, in a new situation. I just do. I mean, this is the same thing I said about Sorsby. Everyone thinks that Sorsby is just going to go out and be a Heisman contender at Tech. And I think that they can put out all the hype videos that they want, but you have to go out and show that in a new situation, in big environments, that you can perform. And it's a different beast when there's actually expectations. Nobody had Duke winning the ACC before the season started last year. And again, I'd also point out that just because you win an ACC championship doesn't mean that you're one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Like, it doesn't. It's different.
Trinidad Chambliss in the regular season. The obvious thing is Trinidad Chambliss lost to Georgia and played his worst game of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Then they go to the playoff, and he plays inarguably his best game of the year against Georgia. But my point is, I have no idea how you look at Darien Mensah last year at Duke. Darien Mensah wasn't good at Duke. Darien Mensah was dominant at Duke. And I agree, playing Elon, not ideal. But does that diminish the fact that he put up 46 points and 360 yards and 4 touchdowns on Clemson? Look at their biggest games. He dismantled Clemson. Like, absolutely took Georgia Tech apart. They lost. 373 yards and 2 touchdowns on Georgia Tech. A 12th ranked Georgia Tech. I mean, we can go down the list. 334, 2 touchdowns and a pick against Illinois. I'm telling you, Darien Mensah, and we can sit here and we can go on and on about this. How is Drew Mestamaker on this list and Darien Mensah is not?
I agree with that.
How is Brendan Sorsby on this list and Drew Mestamaker is on this list and Byrum Brown is on this list and Darien Mensah is not? Furthermore, I think I could make an argument. How's Lenore Sellers not on this list? How is that possible? It is wild to me, the disrespect of Mensah. It's crazy. The idea that we're having an argument over whether or not Darien Mensah is one of the 10 best quarterbacks in the country. This list shouldn't exist without Darien Mensah on it.
Wow.
It's insulting to put Byrum Brown on this list instead of Darien Mensah. It's wild to me that we somehow believe that's yeah. I guess we'll fight over it. The fact that, Byrum Brown is going to a putrid Auburn team, but, he's amazing and belongs on this list anyway. Who's the best quarterback in the country, Jake?
CJ Carr. He's ready. He's matured. He's been in the system more than 1 year. That's absolutely my argument for him being the best in the country. I think the Dante Moore slurpers, I think you need to see what Oregon looks like. I'm just going to keep saying that. I think that, you can buy the hype. You can talk about Oregon, but the reality is, we have to see what Oregon is. I don't know what that team's going to look like, dude. I think there's a lot of questions. So, if we're going off of this list, I think that guys who need to have a great year, Arch needs to have a dominant year. Like, Arch needs to come out and put and I agree, the second half of last year was great for sure, but it needs to be a different vibe this year. It needs to be full control, high performance every game, looking like you're in command type year for Arch Manning. So, I don't mind him being on this list, but yeah, I mean, I think that Mestamaker, Sorsby, they shouldn't be on the list. And I don't know where they come up with this stuff. I'll never understand it. These lists are rage bait for a reason, but I just think that it's a situation where guys on this list who have actually played somebody, and actually been in contention for the CFP differ from guys who have not. Brendan Sorsby, Mestamaker, nowhere near the college football playoff last year. Cincinnati was a nice little story halfway through the year and they flamed out. So I'm just not in on it the way other people are. Byrum Brown, the only reason he's on this list is because of the hype video train on social media. He's a guy that can run around, make guys miss, make flashy plays, and now he's at Auburn. Everyone thinks he's the second coming of Cam Newton. That's the beginning and the end of his presence on this list. Nothing would say that Byrum Brown is going to be a Heisman candidate or is going to be better than Darien Mensah as an example or anything. It's literally, in my opinion, I don't care what they, I don't know if there's a description as to how they put this together, but you can't tell me Buddy putting this together didn't watch a bunch of highlight reel on Twitter, because that's all Byrum Brown is. So I look at this list and I say the only real no doubt about it's on this list would obviously be, in my opinion, Carr saying, I actually think Chambliss is one of the better quarterbacks in college football. Obviously he's got the whole eligibility thing and the drama in the offseason. So he's kind of got a little bit on the line, might want to have a good year, Trinidad, just saying. But I don't like Maeva. USC's got a lot on the line this year. I wouldn't be surprised if Maeva was in the Heisman conversation at the end, just given that it's Lincoln Riley, given the fact that he's a quarterback whisperer. So the top 5 guys I don't really have a problem with, but Dante Moore and down, all 6 through 10, I'd have no problem with none of those guys being on the list and replacing all of them. I just think that there's...
So you don't think that... Okay. I can't agree with any of that.
Well, yeah, you can. The only thing you disagree with is Dante Moore. And everyone's going to say, oh, well, Dante Moore is one of the best quarterbacks in the country. But what do we all know about quarterbacks in college football? Their situation largely determines their ability to go out and win Heisman trophies, or how deep you can get in terms of CFP ranking and things like that. So if Dante Moore has a great season, it'll be because Dan Lanning did a great job promoting from within, and the coordinator thing worked out, and they did a good enough job on offense in the portal and things like that. But if he has a bad season or a less than stellar season, then everyone's going to be like, oh, well, he was overrated in the preseason and yada, yada, yada. So that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, sure, if you want to have him on the list, great. But I just think there's so many questions about Oregon heading into the season. It's impossible to know if he's going to have a good year.
Yeah, I think Dante Moore is top 10 on this list. It's not even a conversation. It's not even a conversation. Brown, Sorsby, Stockton, and Mestamaker have no business on this list.